Now please welcome National Honor Society President Grant Weishauer to the stage.
All right, I'm going to take this off, and before we start throwing bricks through windows and burning trash in the streets, it's kind of hard to hold a serious conversation when, something's tickling you in the face every half a second. So, wow, that's a lot of people. And what's really, really cool about this is it's a lot of people for a reason. I'm going to kind of start off. My dad says that there are only 3 types of graduation speeches. I can't remember exactly what they are, but I'm going to try my best to encompass all of the basics. And I think the first most important thing that really why we're here is there are some people that really do need some thank yous. First of all, the people that really need thanks are the parents. You are the ones who inevitably make this happen. And I'm not going to pretend like all families have it together and I'm not going to pretend like there's no conflict, but without you, there would be no graduating class. And without your parents, you would have never graduated or not. The second group that really does need to be thanked are the teachers. Dr. Smith really does have a good point. They are the ones who make this possible. One could argue that they're almost as important as the parents, because their entire job focuses around the idea of pushing you so that you were better than you were yesterday. And that is a thing worth celebrating. And just so no one feels left out, I would like to thank everyone else in the audience, whether you're an uncle or a cousin, any sort of relative, because you are in here because you made an investment. And without that investment, none of us can say that we would be who we are otherwise. So, yeah. Over the past few weeks, there have been 2 really big realizations that I have come to realize as I'm thinking about sort of the next steps. And whenever Mom asks me if I finished writing the graduation speech yet. And the first thing is, I was in the car with Eli Pitney, and we were just talking about school and how we're excited to get out, and we're just ready for the next thing. And he brought up a really interesting point, and that is school is not just to teach you concepts. And so today I'm going to kind of expand on that idea. We oftentimes think of school as a place where we just learn how to do a specific task. And while that definitely is part of school is definitely learning the concepts, it is so much more than that. If we take a look at a couple examples, if we look at math, that's always the go-to pick on. It's like, when am I ever going to need geometry or trigonometry or any of these classes? And while it is true that a major goal of mathematics is to teach you how to do math, it goes beyond that. Math is not just to teach you how to do math, but it is to teach you how to use your head. It's to teach you how to solve problems. Math helps you identify how to approach a problem and then how to solve it. English and literature are the same way. Yes, part of it is to get you to grammar gooder, in the words of Josiah, but the other part of it is to help you analyze and not take things at face value, because especially in today's world, truth is not always the first thing that is given. Even in classes like weightlifting, it teaches you how to set a goal, determine a plan, and how to finish something you started, even if it's the hardest thing you've ever done. One of the, a couple of the fellow graduates, when we were standing in line, asked me if I was going to come up and give a sappy speech about how great high school was and how it's just like High School Musical and everything is fantastic. And I told him no, but that means I need to go rewrite some things. So while there are good times in high school, it is a hard time. If you go and look up on Google, school makes me, here are some of the results you'll get. School makes me feel stupid. School makes me sad. School makes me tired. School makes me depressed. School makes me angry. And I bring these things not to bash on school, but to recognize that this is a hard time. School is not the hardest thing you'll ever do. It's probably not even the hardest thing you've ever done. But it's the questions that you start asking yourself along the way that help cause these emotions. Necessary questions like, where will I go to college? Will I go to college? Should I join the service? What is my life going to look like? And sometimes some more personal questions. What do I believe in? Is it worth it? And I'm not going to pretend like those aren't things we've also all struggled with. And part of this thinking, while unavoidable, can be a good thing. Because one of the things I've realized as I've just talked to people and just thought to myself is this idea. I probably have about 70 to 80 years left on this planet, and that's not a lot of time. It's not the amount of time that is the issue, but the fact that I will never get it back. No do-overs, no repeats. That is why time is considered one of the most valuable things in the world, is because you don't get it back. And while that initially, it's like, where's Grant going with this? That's kind of depressing. This is a day of celebration. But it really helps to fit a couple of different ideas. And over the last few weeks, I've realized I don't have time for pettiness. I don't have time to hold a grudge. I don't have time to be angry at people. We don't have time to waste time. Even though I don't have time for anger, that doesn't mean I don't have time for restoration. I don't have time for failure, but I do have time for mistakes. I don't have time for self-pity, but I do have time for self-improvement. I don't have time to worry about tomorrow, but I do have time to think about the right path that I need to follow. I don't have time for regret. I do have time for risks. And really what really brought about this thinking is the idea that I don't want to plan out my life until my death. Which sounds morbid, but really when you think about it, that is such a crucial and important thing. I mean, we're expected to figure out our entire lives by the time we graduate high school. And it's okay if you don't. If I follow the thought process of I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to go work for 40 years, I'm going to retire, and then live on my retirement until I pass away. If I commit to that line of thinking, my life no longer becomes about the journey and the relationships I form along the way, but of the goal of death and the dash in between the two dates. There's a song by Ben Platt, who also wrote Grow As We Go, called Older, and has a very interesting line. It says, "If I wait till my tomorrow comes, is the waiting all I've ever done?" My greatest fear in life is that I will look back and wonder what I did with my life. To kind of tie it back around to my dad, probably one of my favorite quotes is, "My regrets stem not from the decisions I did make, but from the ones that I didn't." And while I know we're not supposed to use cliches, and I'm trying to find stows so I know where to block whatever she throws at me comes from. The common graduation stereotype, or the ending to a speech, is it's our turn to change the world, so let's go out and do it. But I do think there's a very crucial and necessary part that a lot of people leave out. And that is, it's our turn to change the world. And we don't have a lot of time to do it. We can't waste time worrying and hating each other. We need to invest in what really matters if we're going to ever change things. So, graduating class of 2019, I congratulate you on your accomplishments, because it is the longest thing you will probably ever do. I don't know if I'm going to do anything else for 13 years. And it is our turn to change the world. Let's make it count. Thank you.